All right, welcome back. Another episode of Fletch Podcast. Your host Justin and Brooks. Brooks, say what's up.
What's up, dude? How's it going?
We're going. Got out scouting deer. This is, I would
Nice.
call it my first, but it's, I guess, kind of my second scout
Yeah.
of the summer. Went out a little over a week ago with Bryant, and we
Nice.
pulled my camera because the batteries were dead. And I was debating whether or not to put the camera or leave the camera there or pull it. Anyway, so we pulled it. Put new batteries in, and then I went back out to the same general area, and I actually put it back in different spot. Saw a lot of good sign, so I'm looking forward to that spot.
Nice.
And then yeah, so that was my second scout of the year. I had like 8 ticks, I want to say. 2 of them were latched, and just like I found the rest like crawling on me. I took a bath because I read somewhere if you take a bath, they'll like unlatch themselves or they'll just like fall off. You like scrub. I was like, I'll try it. And while I was in the bath, I found my second latched one. So I don't know how well all that worked, but I think I'm tick free now.
Tick free.
Craziness, ridiculous. I need to be better about like finding some sort of spray or actually spraying before I go, because I usually don't, but
Yeah.
I just get covered in them. I don't know if it's just me or if it's just because I don't spray or what, but
I forgot that ticks are a big issue out there.
grande,
Yeah.
big deal. So what's up with Brooks?
Oh, nothing really. Just got off second Western HuntFest of the year this past weekend.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Let's hear it. All right. Well, I didn't shoot well, so well,
Dang it.
day one on Friday, I shot a 125, and we were out on the course for I want to say 4.5 hours. For the only reason we were out there for that long was because there was a 6-person group in front of another, and we were behind another 6-person group with their families.
Mm.
And so it just took forever. And
Yeah.
then it hailed for a good 30 minutes. So we had to take cover for that long.
Nice.
So it took forever.
Yeah.
And because like everyone in my group that shot, everyone was pretty experienced. It's just took a long time.
Yeah.
So I shot a 125. Not the greatest, if I'm being honest. Here, if I can probably, I'm going to my messages right now to you guys, and let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, you were saying it was a pretty tough layout, and you got to shoot it a couple times, huh?
Yeah, so got to shoot it twice. Oh, come on. Here, hold on, sorry. Trying to show more. Yeah, oh, I'm already in it. So yeah, day one, I shot a 125. I was hitting foam for all of them, all the way up to shot 18 and 19. I got 2 zeros back to back.
Oh man.
No bueno.
Yeah, it's a
So
score killer.
yeah, because I'm trying to see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 5s.
Damn.
Not good. Not good. Now I will say this. I showed up. I thought when I was shooting in the backyard beforehand, I thought I was a little left, and I should have corrected it in the backyard, but I didn't. And so I got there on Friday and started shooting, and I went 30 yards at just a regular target, and it shot way left. And I'm like, oh, there goes an arrow. I'm like, so I had to tinker with that. So I was frustrated with that, and I thought I dialed it in. I don't think I dialed it in enough. I kind of just dialed in enough for just to go shoot
Yeah.
and just be on it. So it was a frustrating day. It was a long day. I definitely was getting fatigued just standing out there a lot.
Yeah.
It was hot, hot, rainy, humid. Um, it was it was a tough course overall, and they made it that way, so which was fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes
and
it a
they
little
did,
bit fun.
yeah, and they did all of it was out and back shots, mostly because of the
Okay.
whole tack incident,
Yeah.
uh, which is fair. So that obviously makes it go by a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Um, but then day 2, Saturday, I shot a 150. It's better.
Mucho better.
I think I shot a 158 or something like that, my first one back in May.
Yeah.
Uh, so I actually started off, I thought pretty well. It was 10-5, 10-5, 12-10. I was like, oh, I'm actually shooting pretty decent so far. I got a 12, then 2 5s back to back, 10, 12, 8. I was like, okay, not bad. Then a 5, then 12, 10, 0, 8, 8, 10, 0 on 19, and then 5 on the last one. And that,
1900 number.
yeah, 19 had my number. It was no, I'm trying to remember which shot that was. Um, yeah, it was no good. I think I was low on, I think I was low both times on that.
Hmm.
I will say 18, it was actually 18 was, it was a bear in between 2 branches. So the vitals were here, branches were, or the branch, not the branches, but
Trees.
the trees were right here. Bear was behind, and the vitals were just in this small part. And on day 1, I totally hit the tree and it flew, and I was like, oh man. But day 2, I got a 10, so I was pretty pumped about that.
Nice. Heck yeah.
So yeah, well, nothing to write home about. Day 2 was definitely a lot more efficient. We were only out there for about 2.5 hours,
Hmm.
uh, which was nice. It was a group of 4 of us, um, and it was like these guys were dudes, and so it definitely went by a lot quicker, which was nice.
Yeah. That's nice.
So yeah,
Yeah. There's like there's 2 parts of it. Like it can go it can be fun, but so slow. And it's just like, oh my gosh, like it's killing you. And then like your mental focus is like totally drained from that. But
yeah,
like it's still fun. But then
yep,
like when you're cruising and you can go just get through it, like you're just spending less time having to refocus and stay focused and then refocus, stay focused. And
yep.
it just makes it flow and little bit more fun that way.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the guys who I was with, I mean, both days the people who I was with, they were all awesome, great people. But the
Yeah.
guys I was with day 2, it was a lot of fun. Those guys were
Yeah.
fun to shoot with. So
Yeah. That's good.
yeah, um, didn't do the pack out challenge this time, mostly because I had to kind of stay near the Caribou Gear tent
Hmm.
booth. I actually sold some product, which was good. We were
Yeah.
we were worried we weren't going to sell anything, but we sold something, which is good.
That's good.
Um, so I did the sprint challenge. I ended up being first in the sprint challenge. And for those of you who don't know, the sprint challenge is you take 3 arrows, and this one was different than the last one. The last one was 20 yards. This one was 40 yards.
Ooh.
But here's the thing is, so you start at the start line, you sprint to the shooting lane, or the shooting line, and you can bring oh geez, why am I blanking it? Your Sorry folks. The rangefinder.
Rangefinder.
You can bring your rangefinder and range it, but that just takes seconds off.
Yeah.
Um, or you can just eyeball it. So I just said, F it, I'm gonna eyeball it. So I sprint down to the shooting line and I look at it and I'm like, I think that's 40 yards. and I draw back. Then I go 40, boom, down the middle. I was like, let's go. And so then I was like so pumped. I was like, oh, let's go. And then I was like, oh, what do I do next? Crap. So then I just set my bow down, grab the sandbag, run, oh, I don't know, 50 yards down, drop the sandbag, run back, pick up bow and arrow, shoot again, missed, hit low. I was like, dang it.
Mm.
This is when like you really gotta start controlling your breathing at this point. So then drop the bow, run down, grab the sandbag, pick it up, bring it back, shoot the last arrow, run through the finish line. Oh, I think I got it done in like, uh, I'm trying to think, like a minute 46 or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little. I don't remember exactly, but I it was funny because Chelsea was adjusting people, and she's like, "Let me know when you're gonna go. I want to record it." And I didn't realize I was going first. So when Guy was like, he goes, "All right, Brooks Benson, you're up first," and I was like, "Oh crap,
Oh,
okay,
not getting this recorded.
yep." So I had to just hustle, and I got back, and she goes, "When are you gonna go?" I was like, "Oh, I just went." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Sorry." So
Yeah, whoops.
yeah, so that was fun. And then the out calling contest, I did not participate again because I have not worked on it at all.
Mm.
So
Yep.
that's on me for not working on it. And
That's
because a
right.
couple of guys were like, "You didn't do the out calling?" I was like, "If you want to laugh at me, sure, I'll do it." And they'll be like, "No, it's okay. You'll do fine." I'm like, "No, I won't. I will sound like a dead deer or a dead elk." Like,
I will sound like a goose before I sound like an elk.
yeah, it's no good. So overall, it
Oh
was a good
man.
weekend. Friday night, they set out a target at 200 yards, and
Oh
um, the guys who run it were trying to hit it with the trad bow, and they're getting pretty close. They
yeah.
were either, it's tough with a trad bow because obviously the FPS is just a little less on them.
Right.
Um, and they were just like shooting them way up in the air, and the wind would take it, and they got close a couple times, and so I just like, you know what, I'm gonna throw 6 out there with my
Yeah.
bow, and I didn't know what to aim at because I set my sight at for 80 yards, because if I set it for 100, then the fletchings will hit my sight and it
Hmm.
will kind of go whack.
Yeah.
Um, so I set it for 80. I just I get it up there and I release, and this arrow flies. The guys are like, "Yeah, that's gone." That thing probably went 400 yards. That thing flew. I was like,
Oh man.
"Whoops." And so I brought it down. So I like kind of uh overdid it a little bit, and I was like, "Okay, I think I'd be right here." Then I was like 50 or 50 feet in front of it. I was like, "Okay, now I know where I need to be."
Yeah.
And but I think I got close like twice after that. It was hard. And then
Yeah, that is hard.
one of the guys I shot with on Saturday, he comes up and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna try." Shoots the first one. He goes, "Hmm." Shoots the second one. Boom! Hits the top left corner. I was like, "Dude, come on." He's like, "I don't know what I did."
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
I've never shot. I think the farthest I've actually ever shot was like 80 at the range. I've never I've never gone even like 100, let alone 200. That's crazy.
it was fun. Yeah,
I
there
bet.
was one I got super close that just went just over the bag.
Mm, dang it.
So,
That's fun.
yep. But yeah, if anyone cares, there's nothing in Raton, New Mexico besides the NRA center down there. Uh,
Yeah.
we because it took us so long to shoot on Friday that we missed the food truck that was at the event,
Mm,
which was very unfortunate.
that is.
Yeah.
Dang it.
And then there was no food out there for dinner, so we didn't leave until 8:30. So we had to go into town and find something. Everything is closed besides Domino's and Pizza Hut. So I had a whole Domino's pizza that night.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So,
Good
yep.
over town.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
not a whole lot going on there.
Yeah, there's really nothing. It honestly kind of looks like it's a dying town, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Dang,
So,
man. Well,
yep.
there's been some developing news. We were going to talk about the public land thing that was going on. That it got dropped from that big beautiful bill or whatever, and they're talking about trying to add it some other way. But between then and now, a new development has surfaced, and that is the big lawsuit in the archery industry.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know exactly every detail of it, and we can probably pull it up and give it a search here. But I guess the long and short of it is this guy, or he filed a class action lawsuit against basically everybody in the archery industry that he could name, all the big names, Cabela's, Bass Pro. Um, I don't know if Lancaster is included or if their name was just on there, but basically, if they're a big name in the archery industry, like all the manufacturers, especially, um, if they were a big name, they were mentioned. But it's against all them, saying that they were fixing the prices on
Mm,
archery products,
yeah.
fixing them too high. So it was inflating the prices beyond reason, and so um, bad deal. Not something probably really anybody wants to be associated with, especially if anybody's actually found guilty. So
Right.
there's a whole lot of stuff that has to happen before anything actually gets done about that. But it is a big accusation that's been thrown out in the following or in the previous 10 days or so.
Yeah, because I think did I send it to you or
Yeah. Yeah, you sent it.
yeah.
I think you sent it to Tanner and I, but I remember seeing it. And then I've watched a couple videos and articles, read a couple articles since.
Yeah. It's I mean, here's the like I from what I gathered from it, I get that people are not happy with the archery industry and how much they're charging for things. But I mean, it's not really illegal.
Right.
So people are paying it. If that's kind of just do I wish things were cheaper? Yeah, absolutely. But I
Right.
mean, people are paying it, so I don't see how it's illegal unless you can explain to me or someone else can explain to me why this could potentially be a like a real big deal, you know?
I think it's like price fixing, and I think I don't know if it has to do with like a percentage or whatever, but I believe like the term price fixing makes it like or describes it as something that's not legal. So setting the
Oh,
price higher than it's actually should be priced.
I guess
So
yeah,
like it's like a Matthews bow, say, their flagship, whatever it is, $12.99, like almost $1,300 just as
yeah,
just the bow. They're saying, okay, that's the price. And then you look at down the line, it's $14.99, $15.99, $18.99 on the prices of just a bow across the board. And it's like, okay, why is it costing that much? Because manufacturing, now I'm not going to say I know what the price of manufacturing a bow is or any of that stuff, but I think what they're saying is the price to manufacture is not that high. And then the fact that everybody across the board is at that price, for like a flagship bow
yeah.
is that's where I think that's where the lawsuit is coming in.
Well, couldn't you say the same thing about gun manufacturers? All their
Probably.
flagship stuff are all the way up there?
Yeah. I would say so. I mean, I'm not saying it's because like it's cheap to make and
Yeah.
they're charging a lot, because phones are the same way. Like a phone does not cost $1,000 to make,
No.
and we're paying $1,000 for an iPhone plus.
Yeah.
But there's I think the whole idea is price fixing and saying, okay, and it's not even just bows, like it's arrows, it's parts, it's inserts, veins, all that stuff, and they're saying, okay, base price needs to be this, and then everybody's just kind of following along and doing it, which I don't,
Right.
and then they're saying it's too high. I think that's kind of along the lines of where that lawsuit is going, what they're trying to say, and so yeah, I don't know. It would be really interesting to see if like what the courts say about it, because
Yeah.
I'm kind of on your side. It's like, okay, yeah, it is expensive. Nobody likes that it's expensive, but you know, what are they supposed to do about it? That people are paying that money for it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're, I don't know. Yeah, prices have increased over time, but it's not like anything crazy.
Right.
Like they haven't jumped to $3,000 for just a bow when they used to cost 1,000, whatever. I'm making up
No.
numbers here, but they didn't do a 300% increase
Right.
or 200% increase. Whatever the number is.
Yeah. I'm reading the outdoorlife.com article on it. So they're pretty much saying, let's see here. Uh like usually your local bow shop won't sell you a new bow below the manufacturer price. While there, however, you'll have the opportunity to test shoot bows and have a bow tech set up your bow properly. If new top bows were to be sold online and shipped directly to your home, industry insiders agree that local bow shops would be doomed. Which, sure, but thing is, if like you can I guess you could buy a middle of the road bow from Bear Archery and get it shipped right to your house, like I did.
Right.
Uh, Says in recent years, there's also been a rise in knockoff companies ripping off the design and packaging of top archery products and selling them at discounted prices online. Customers would think they were buying brands top tier broadheads, but actually receive a cheaper Chinese made product. Warranty claims begin to increase. Archery companies found themselves dealing with quality control and brand uh, uh, degraduate. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm still sick. Degraduate degradation. Jeez. Can't speak.
Brooks went to community
Sorry.
college, everybody.
Yes, I did. Says MAP. I'm assuming that's, where does it say?
That is,
Minimum
I just,
advertised pricing.
yeah,
That's MAP. MAP. MAP is the complicated issue. Um, According to industry insiders, but such practices are legal when executed correctly and do not qualify as price fixing as defined by Federal Trade Commission. So, okay, so this is with the Federal Trade Commission, I see. The key distinction is that the price fixing usually occurs between competitors, while map pricing occurs throughout the entire industry. Okay. Map is generally legal if it's implemented unilaterally by the manufacturer, says one former archery industry insider who asked not to be identified due to the pending litigation. Price fixing is when competitors agree to a fixed price, and of course, manufacturer and retailer aren't competitors. One is a supplier, one is a seller. So I'm not going to read the rest, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, so I've got it pulled up here on the screen share. Hopefully the viewers can see it. Listeners, go check out the outdoorlife.com article. That's what we're looking at, referring to here. You can read it yourself, or Brooks was reading it. I might read some off of here too. But basically, 63-page lawsuit. Like Brooks was saying, minimum advertised pricing. So a bow shop couldn't advertise, say, the flagship Matthews. They couldn't advertise saying, okay, whatever the number is, 1,200, 1,300. X bow shop, full Fletch archery. If we were to sell bows, we can't post online saying flagship. Come get your Matthews Lift X for $899, $899. $400 off. We can't advertise that price.
Right.
And it's just to keep it across the board. And then they're saying that the manufacturers, big companies are able to remove that bow shop from their distributor list and like an authorized dealer. So if you don't follow the MAP, the minimum advertised pricing, then you can be removed as a dealer for whatever brand you broke their MAP on. So again, going back to the Matthews example, Matthews selling their bows for $12.99. You advertised it at $9.99. Matthews can come in and say, hey, you can't do that. You're no longer an authorized dealer of Matthews. Give us back all the bows, all the Matthews bows that you have.
Right.
And they can't sell Matthews anymore. So that's just kind of what it is. And I think the way people have gone around it is, from my understanding, like if you go into a bow shop and like say you have a pretty good relationship, you started to build a relationship with Bear Creek Archery, those guys, you go in there and you're like, all right, I would like a new bow, blah, blah, blah. Okay, the advertised price for, we'll say Matthews, we'll stick to it.
Okay.
The advertised price is what it is, but you go in there and they're like, hey, Brooks, you come in here, you're all the time, you've become a pretty loyal customer. We're going to take care of you. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take $200 off, and we'll get you set up with this other thing, and we'll get you all dialed in. We're just going to take $200 off. Now, that price isn't advertised, but they gave you a discount. And so that's the way people are kind of getting around it. Like if you go into the bow shop and, it's part of that's a little bit shady, but it's like, hey, man, what are you going to do? Like, loyal customers get benefits all the time. They get discounts all the time. There's no, there's nothing that says you can't do that, And so that's kind of what they're doing to get around it. But yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's all up in the air. It's like, okay, yeah, they have a minimized advertised price thing, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
The suit is brought by plaintiff Joseph Santarlis from Pennsylvania.
He filed it in Utah?
No, he's from Pennsylvania.
Right, but he filed it in Utah.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Probably because Hoyt's there. Most bow companies are in Utah. Most archery companies, let's be real. Not most, but big ones.
Yeah, so those named are Hoyt, Bowtech, Matthews, PSE, Cabela's, Dick's Sporting Goods, Bass Pro Shop, Jay's Sporting Goods, Kinsey's Outdoors, Lancaster Archery Supply, the Archery Trade Association, and 2 software companies that helped companies track MAP pricing.
I didn't even know Dick's Sporting Goods sold archery products.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless it's, I don't know, just as Dick's, I guess. So I don't know if that is Dick's Sporting Goods. I figure it would be, but
I hope so. I hope it is.
sue them dudes. Yeah, it's interesting. I'll be I'll be interested to see, give it a month or two, see if there's anything else that comes out about it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's gonna go.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yep.
Well,
Well,
if it comes down, if it for something happens, maybe the bows will become cheaper. Hopefully, I don't know.
yeah, I could see that maybe, and you would hope, like, not. I'm not saying just Matthews, but if Matthews is in on some sort of price fixing thing, and I feel like they're like pretty good hearted people from everything I've seen, heard about them. Maybe they're like, man, we would like to not have to do that to people.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more affordable for you know Justin and Brooks to be able to go out and buy flagship bows,
Right.
Matthews flagship bows. But like we said, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
This could just be a total like judge looks at it and is like, oh, you mean things are expensive and you don't like it, and the prices keep going up. Same with everything else, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go cry in your pillow about it.
Yeah. It could literally just be that.
But that's I don't know if it's necessarily rocked the archery world, but it kind of ruffled some feathers there, I would say, in the
Yeah.
last week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So yeah, like I said, it'll be something that we hopefully can follow up on whenever they get around to, you know, it's a filed lawsuit, I guess, but we'll see if whatever comes of it. If anything actually comes of it, then we'll report on it then. But that's something that, if you haven't been made aware of it, just know it's out there. It's happening,
It's
or it
happening.
happened. So,
Yeah. I'm looking at the actual lawsuit right now.
oh, you're reading it.
Yeah.
63 pages, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of pages.
It's not a reading for Brooksy.
Too much reading for me.
Way too much reading for me. Turn it into an audiobook. I'll listen to it.
Oh yeah, right. I'll listen to this. Just start someone speak.
Get Cam Haynes to read it on Audible. I'm all in. Oh man.
I'm trying to see if they just like list like Lancaster, ATA, Track Sheet is the corporation. It's one of the software companies.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyways, we can move on from this.
Well, at some point, I would like to. We've talked about it before, but like the psychology side of archery, we were going to talk about it. I think we're going to push it back. We were going to talk about one specific, but I would like to spend a little bit more time on it, and we've got a little less time than I think we have available, and
Yeah.
want us both be a little better prepared for that discussion. So,
Cool.
in the coming episodes, we're going to start talking a little bit more on the psychology side of archery, especially just shooting and hunting. More specifically, I guess you could say, which I guess you could say that's probably about all of archery. But anyways, no, I sent Brooks a episode. Competition Archery Media had Joel Turner on, and he's the one who runs Shot IQ, and it was like a big basically it's the psychology of shot execution, when for archery, and so I sent him that one, and so I thought it was a really good episode, and he basically said in it, he was like, yeah, I do offer this as a course, but like this whole episode basically laid out everything that I talk about in the course. There's a few more
Uh-huh.
specifics that I talk about in the course, but like you want to listen, you want to learn what I teach, or you want to hear what I teach. Like this episode just laid it all out. So, you know, still go buy it because it's there's more to it still a little bit, but he's like, I laid it all out there. There's no real secret to what I teach. So it was really cool, I thought, and so that just made me want to dive a little bit deeper into the psychology side.
Yeah, I listened to it on I think Monday. It was really good.
Yeah. Have you listened to his Joel Turner did an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience? This was a couple years ago. He was on with him.
I think I listened to majority of it.
So you're fairly familiar with his story, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether or not you are, I'm still going to elaborate a little more for the listeners who may not be familiar with him. So Joel Turner was with like the sheriff's department at for whatever town he's from, and long story short, I guess without doing a full bio and telling you everything about the guy, he was a sniper for the sheriff's department, and so you know he had to basically teach himself these psychological tactics on shooting and shot execution and stuff like that, and how to be a better shot because apparently you're really really good. But between the Joe Rogan episode and the competition archery media episode,
Mhm.
really good layout of who he is, what he talks about, and obviously now in the archery world, he's apparently like he's a pretty good shot still with archery. He shoots a bare bow, and so like he doesn't have like a sight. He sets up a compound bow, totally different than anybody really sets up a compound bow. Um, so he shoots definitely different than all the rest of us. But his son
Yeah.
is Bodie Turner, who is like the star child of shot IQ and the uh, the star child of the archery world. 18 years old. He's won the Vegas shoot. He's won a ton of other archery events, indoor archery specifically. Um, yeah, so like really, really successful archery shooter, and he's only 18 years old, and so which makes it that much more impressive. He's been learning these tactics and doing these tactics that is shot or that is taught through shot IQ since he
Mhm.
was basically like 8 or younger. So
It's crazy. Yeah, like the he won Vegas last year, right? Or
this most recent year,
this most recent. Yeah. Crazy.
yeah.
Like which I mean, for him, like him coming up with this, it makes sense because since he was a sniper, he has to figure out the whole mental side of things. Because being a sniper is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we
I
definitely
mean, you got another human in your crosshairs,
yeah.
and you know, I guess I'll kind of spoil one of the episode or one of the stories he tells on the Joe Rogan episode. He's talking about he had this guy was holding somebody hostage, and like he had like a knife to like up against this lady, and he was like either on a roof or like in a room through a window, and then like the negotiator was like getting him to like walk around, but he was like he still had the knife to the lady or whatever, but like he had like a fraction of room. Like basically, the only line he had at him was like it was one line. You can't. There was no variance left or right, and so it was like
Yeah.
if he goes in there, I can take it, but if he isn't, I can't take the shot. And he just tells the story of like he walked by and then like he went through his whole process, and it was just like the margin for error was so slim, and it's like man, the average Joe being in that situation, like just absolute freak out meltdown. You can only imagine.
Oh
Like
yeah.
Like if you miss by, he's like, he had inches of room between like the target and a civilian, like an innocent person. He's like, if I miss by just a little bit, the wrong person goes down and it's catastrophe. And so
Right.
that's kind of where he talks about, gets into like, okay, I have this method that I use, like psychology, using psychology to my advantage, and this is how I do it. And yeah, really, really cool.
That is really, really cool.
All right, Brooks. I think it's time to talk about arrows one more time
Let's
again.
talk about arrows.
All right, I am super excited. We've talked about it since I shot my doe back in whenever I shot it. Was that October, something like that? October, November, somewhere in there.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyways, we've been talking about it since then. I am finally getting around to being able to build my arrows for 2025, 2026 deer season. So my previous arrow setup, I've got it here. It was the Easton 6.5, 250 spine with 4 Fletch on the back. And I had light and knocks. I broke 2 of my 3, I think. And so this is just one that's not a lighted knock. But I was running a iron will single bevel 125 with bleeders. That arrow weight, I want to say, I've got it right here. I've got my scale. 468 and a half. 468.5. That was like 200 grains less than I probably would like, or would have liked. So we've talked about that. Not going to beat a dead horse. That's just really what I wanted was, I want more mass. Finally getting around to it, and after my research, I have decided on the Sirius Orions. They are the micro diameter, 0.166. So I want to say those are 4 mil. For those of you who do the metric stuff. So that is the narrowest diameter, and that's the inside diameter when they're talking about diameter. So that's the smallest diameter arrow money can buy you. And then I went with, I got it pulled up here. Here, I'll share the screen again. All right. So this is, we're down over here to the left, 200 spine on the 166, grains per inch, 10.7. I'm going to do some math, so I got to write these numbers down. 10.7 grains per inch. And then I went with the heaviest system they offer, which is all stainless steel. So that's, show you here. So these on the post, these can be like broken off. And so I want to say they're like 15, 25 grains each. And so you can like break them off to make it weigh. The lowest this system can weigh on the inserts is 115 grains. So between the post and the sleeve, the lowest you can have is 115. I'm going to keep it at 175, the full weight that it can offer there. And then I also have from Sirius their field point, which I'm going to get around to getting a new broadhead, but this is a 200 grain field point. So for those of you who are doing the math before we get to the math, this is a heavy arrow setup. Right now, this is the knock that it comes with. It's stock. I might stick with that. I'm actually not familiar with micro diameter lighted nocks on how many people actually offer those. So for right now, I'm going to keep this nock. I like this green. I'm going to go with the 3-vein BCA mini sabers. Based on the reviews, they're probably the best vein you could get. So I'll put that to the test myself. I like the look of them. I like white, so I'm going to go 3-vein. That's based on their own recommendations. I like the idea of 4-vein, but they say for these to perform the best on an arrow, you should do a 3-vein configuration. So that's where I'm going to go. Or that's what I'm going to stick with. But right now, this arrow, without being cut and without veins, it is sitting at 753 grains. So that is, that is just shy of 300 grains more. So I've mentioned before, my goal number is probably around 650. And so with this sleeve system, you can't cut it as short as you would like with a normal like glue-in insert like this on my Easton. So you have to leave it like, I want to say 3/4 of an inch longer. Just because, like I said, for the viewers, you can see it. For listeners, I'm showing the sleeve going over the nock. So I've got my finger where it's at its depth. You take it out, it's about 3/4 of an inch from the very end. So that sleeve comes over the arrow about 3/4 of an inch. So you want that sleeve to be in front of your rest. So you got to cut your arrow about 3/4 of an inch longer than you normally would, or leave 3/4 of an inch more, if that makes sense. So my draw length is going to be 29. So I'm gonna cut it probably at 29 3/4. I'm gonna start by cutting it at 30, just to be safe, and then if I want less weight or I want it there, it all also depends on how the arrow is flying.
Right.
But I'm going to cut it at 29 3/4 at the least. So the lightest my setup will be 29.75 times 10.7 is, oh man, I didn't set up my calculator. That's bad. 29.75 times, oh, I'm still sharing my screen, sorry. 10.7. That's 318.325 grains. So then we add 200. That's my field point or broadhead, whatever tip I'm using. And then 175. So my arrow setup, and then plus 6, 12, 18, plus 18, because each of those veins weighs 6 grains, more or less. So I'm looking at probably a 711 grain arrow by the time it's all said and done. That's at the lightest. Like I said, I might cut it a 1/4 inch less, so I'll leave it at 30. It all depends on how it's flying when it's at 30. If I want it at 29 3/4, what have you. So 711, that's a big boy arrow. That's heavy. And that is a lot of weight up front too. I have the app on my phone, so it's gonna screw everything up if I pull it up. But my FOC is going to be about as high, not as high as you can make it, but it's going to be pretty dang high. I think the goal is 19 or so, 20, and so I think we're going to be at that or better. Just by doing like the balance test on this arrow. And like I said, this is full length compared, and it's going to be a little bit shorter, but the balance point is like 6 inches, 8 inches maybe from the tip, as opposed to my other arrow, my FOC is a lot closer to the center of the arrow, right about there, which is close to 12, probably closer to 10 to 12 inches from the tip. So
Okay.
pretty big difference. The FOC helps with your flight, make sure your flight stays true. It also helps with penetration. And so, yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm going to do not a series. I don't think it'll be a video series. I'm going to do just one big video. I'm going to knock tune them, build them, knock tune them, everything. And so I'm going to show like not a step-by-step process, but I'm just going to take everybody through the process that I'm putting myself through in building these arrows, just to see, how it goes. So I haven't totally touched everything yet. That's why I haven't cut it yet or put anything on it. Not showing the final product yet because there's a lot of work to be done. I'm going to cut them a little bit and then test them a little bit, see if I want to cut some more, see if I don't, all that good stuff. Going to bare shaft, knock tune before I put on my vanes, because I don't want to. These vanes are pretty expensive. Vanes in general, I don't like to waste if I don't have to. So,
Right.
Before I do anything, I'm going to make sure it's bare shaft, knock tuned, and then, get my spine right, all that good stuff, and then install all my stuff, all the vanes, and then we'll see by the end of this what all my arrow weight and stuff like that's going to look like. But it's going to be a big boy arrow, big boy setup.
It is big.
Yeah. From 468 to, what was my number? 711. Yeah. We'll call it 712 minus 468. 240, almost 245 grain difference.
Dang.
Big boy. Like I said,
Big
I'm
boy.
excited about it. I've been wanting to do it ever since I hit that doe. And, some people might say if you watched that shot on the YouTube channel, if you watched that hunt and seen that shot, it was a steep angle. Where I hit it, the number of bones I hit, you could say, well, it makes sense. Even if it was this new arrow where it's going to be 700 some odd grains, that one maybe could have not gotten a pass through. But I think I would have preferred a pass through on a situation like that. And, without getting all the way into the heavy arrow debate, I continue to hear people say, why would you want to shoot a heavy arrow? And like they jump the string, they turn fast, like pigs will turn, deer will jump the string, like crazy things happen. Don't you want that arrow to get there faster?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, if it's not getting there in time, you're hitting in a bad spot. It's like, okay, yes, but who's to say that animal isn't going to do what they do, jump the string, turn fast, whatever, run, before you even release the arrow, like a fraction of a second before you release the arrow, because a stick snapped behind you or a leaf crumbled or something like that. Something got them to spook and got them to react. Who's to say that doesn't happen and the same miss that you had with your fast, light arrow isn't the same amount of miss that you would have had with a heavy arrow? Hypothetically.
Yeah.
They say that happens. Okay, that puts you in worst case scenario. And this is where I really enjoy listening to Ranch Fairy, Troy Fowler. he talks about you have to be ready for plan B. Plan A is
Yeah.
great. Fast arrow, hit it right in the vital V, hit maybe a rib, slip it through the ribs. That's ideal scenario. Catch the heart right through the heart, dead animal in 20 yards. Didn't go 20. Yeah, that's plan A. That's everything goes perfect and nothing bad happened at all. Plan B is actually reality where, an animal's going to move. You're not going to hit the spot that you really want to. It's not going to be a perfect shot every time.
Mm.
Plan B, what's going to happen? Okay, the scapula moves and it blocks your arrow. It goes where your arrow was going to hit. You hit a leg bone, you hit a bigger bone, something like that. When that
Yeah.
happens, you want the best penetration possible, in my opinion. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
hit that, it sticks, you lose your arrow, you don't get a dead animal.
Right.
In that scenario, a heavy arrow is going to go through a bigger bone and it's going to give you a better chance at killing that animal when not everything goes right. And so that's my theory behind it. Like I said, this heavy arrow may or may not have gone through that doe on that angle that I had on that shot. I think it would. And any other time that I'm hunting now, I feel way more confident in a heavy arrow going through something in worst case scenario with this
Yeah.
heavier setup. So that's my rationale. It may totally backfire on me and just be like, wow, this thing is really slow. Okay, then I'll back it down. Find an arrow or find a setup with maybe I can always go back to the 125 grain, back it off 75 grains and go closer to 650. Okay, that's totally reasonable. I can do that. But until then, until I'm proven that it's too slow, can't kill, whatever, I want to go with this heavier setup. So that's my stance. Like I said, we're not going to get all the way into the heavy arrow versus light arrow debate, but as of right now, I'm team heavy arrow, and I'm pretty excited about this setup.
You should be excited. It'll be interesting to see how it shoots. You'll have to get some video of that.
Yeah.
Like you should try to get like a video from uh, from your saddle shooting down at like a 3D target or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So my backyard, it actually is set up just right where we have a tree in the back that I can get up. I can't get up as high as I would like when I'm hunting. I can get up maybe 8 to 10 feet, which that's not like low. I mean, it's low by like saddle standards and tree hunting standards, but
Yeah.
you know, there's people that do that. They only get 8 feet up, and so I can get I can get up there a little bit, and I can definitely do that. So that would be cool to see the difference in flight. And I'd love to. I'm going to take some videos of befores and afters of old arrow versus new arrow, just the way they look, the way they're
No.
flying. I don't have like a lab radar or chronograph or anything like that, but possibly might find a way of getting my hands on one to show the difference in what I was shooting before and after. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, and I'm excited about doing the whole knock tuning. I haven't done that before, and so
Yeah.
that'll I feel like it's going to hopefully make a difference. I'm a pretty accurate shot. Brooks and I have been shooting every day. We talked about it last episode. We have been
Every
shooting every
day.
day. Now, hand up, we've each missed a couple days. There were this past weekend I missed both days. Brooks has missed like a day, something like that. So it's okay. Not the end of the world, but we've been shooting quite a bit. And I think we're both learning about our shot process and we're getting better. So that's what
Yes.
it's all about. But yeah, um, I don't know where I was going with that, but long story short, Sirius Orion 166, 711 grains, going to be awesome, I think.
Legit.
Too legit to quit.
Chance is looking at me like, what'd you just say?
Oh.
Well,
Well,
sweet, dude.
Brooksy, yeah. What are your thoughts on after I just went on a rant there?
Oh, I mean, it'll be cool to see how it all turns out and see how it flies. Kind of like what I just said before. So that's what I
Yeah.
got. I'd like
Yeah,
to go into
buddy.
deeper detail, but I'm running out of time. So
Yeah, we'll put it on the docket. We'll deeper detail as in what? About this specific arrow or about heavy arrows versus light arrows?
how much I hate your arrow. I'm just kidding.
Hey
No,
now.
I'm not like get into the weeds type of thing. Just like I have more thoughts. I just don't have the time to express them.
Yeah. Jot them down. We'll get to it next episode because that's what full fletch is more centered around is archery and arrows. So
Yes,
let's talk about it. I would love to talk about it. So jot down your thoughts and we'll get to them next time.
let's do it.
All right. Well, we'll wrap her up there. We're pretty much right at an hour, and Brooksy has places to be, things to do. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys listening. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
See you guys.